Hey guys, Brett here, connecting from UbiCentral, and today I'm going to be giving my impressions of Far Cry 5. Before we get started, I did play the game back at E3 and uploaded my impressions for that specific build, so if you want to check that out, I'll have a link in the description down below. Alright, with that out of the way, let's get started. Gameplay. So when I originally played this game a couple months ago, I only really had the chance to use one or two weapons, but this time around I actually went to a gun shop and was able to buy a new pistol, assault rifle, sniper, baseball bat, and other weapons as well. And not to mention, every single one of these items were customizable, which was great to see. But anyways, having these different weapons allowed me to experience the game differently. Obviously, if I'm using a bow and arrow, I'm going to take more of a stealth approach, whereas an assault rifle would just be gunning everyone down. And I have to say, most of the weapons were extremely satisfying to use. For me personally, I found myself mostly using the sniper and bow and arrow because they were a bit more challenging to use, and that made getting kills a lot more fun, in my opinion. As for the AI, I was a bit disappointed in them this time around. It just felt like they were a bit dumbed down in this specific build, and maybe we were playing on an easier difficulty, I'm not really sure. But in my 3-hour playtime, I only died once, and that's because I literally exploded myself by accident. Whereas back at E3, I probably died at least 5 times by the AI. Again, I don't know why they were so much easier to kill. Hopefully it's just a setting that can be changed later at launch. The story and main missions from what I played were pretty interesting. I mainly did missions for Mary May and Nick because we've seen them the most in the trailers, and I have to say all the missions I played were unique from one another, which is a great thing to see in an open world game. Nothing really felt like a grind or repetitive, and I found myself enjoying the characters for the most part. My only complaint is I wish there was more cinematics instead of in-game cutscenes. And maybe there is in the final game, but from what I played, it was mainly all in-game, and that kind of brought me out of the experience just a bit, especially because the fully rendered out cinematics looked so good. And I can only hope that there's a lot more at release, or just there's more in different missions. As for side activities, I only really saw fishing and hunting. Hunting was just like previous Far Cry games. They didn't really expand on it unless I'm just missing something major. But yeah, I'm pretty sure you can just hunt an animal, skin it, sell that skin, or craft something. Fishing was more or less the same thing. Catch a fish and just sell it at a shop. But I will say this though, I don't know what it is, but fishing is just super addicting. I literally spent 15 minutes just trying to catch the biggest fish I possibly could, and I don't fish in real life, so I don't know why it's so addicting. But yeah, to be honest, the two side activities I came across were basically the same thing, and that's pretty disappointing. I can only hope there's more activities that I just didn't see, maybe like races, a fight arena, or just something to keep players coming back. And last but not least, I want to talk about co-op in this game. Just like with Wildlands, I really think it's going to be the main selling point of Far Cry 5. You can play the entire story in co-op, which is a first for Far Cry, and I truly think it's how the game is meant to be played. I only had an hour in co-op, and sadly I wasn't allowed to capture it, but I can honestly tell you this game was a lot more fun playing with a friend. And that's not to say playing by yourself is boring. I mean, all the previous Far Cry games were basically single player when it came to the story. But there's just something about playing through a game with a friend that makes the experience so much better, at least for me. So just to recap, the world is massive, there's a ton of characters, and all the missions that I played were unique. There's more customization, and co-op was a ton of fun. But I did have issues with the AI, the in-game cutscenes were pretty dull, and just there wasn't a ton of side activities. But to be fair, you can play missions and side missions with a co-op partner, so that does help. Overall, I enjoyed my time with Far Cry 5, and I still think it has potential to be the best in the series, at least when it comes to the story. As always though, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all later.